Right, now as a cyclist, I think there's some basic things to do with bike mechanics that you should know, and changing your cassette is one of those things. It's really useful if you know you've got a day of hill climbing to put a bigger cassette on, something like a 30, 32, or in this case a 34. Or you've got a flat day coming up and you want to change back to your 28 or 23 because you're going to be bombing along really fast. And it's one of the simplest things, but people get quite scared of it. You need two tools, pretty much, two tools, maybe three. A chain whip, it's one of them. Looks a bit weird, I know, but I'll show you how to use it. And a cassette adapter and something to turn it with, like an Allen key or a spanner or something, but that slots in. So you're going to need that. Right, now the first thing you're going to want to do is take the wheel out of the frame, and then you're going to want to take the quick release skewer out of the wheel altogether. Don't lose the little spring. I recommend you put it back together, so when you're working, if you're working like me without a workbench or a workshop, you don't kick it and lose it in the grass or the gravel or whatever. Right, so wheel, cassette, quick release skewer out. Now you're going to want to put this chain whip on and round the cassette like so. So it's round like that, okay? And you can just hold it against the spokes if you like, just to hold it in place, but make sure you don't put any force on the spokes, of course. Then we get our little cassette tool, and that slots in to the grooves in here. It just slots in there, okay? Make sure your chain whip stays on. Then you get your Allen key or whatever spanner to turn your cassette tool in. Chain whip back on, come on, and turn. You're going to want to put a bit of force around this because there are like teeth retaining ridges on the inside of your lock nut, of your locking ring, and that comes away like so. It's easy enough to do. Take your chain whip off, and now your cassette comes away like so. Just comes away, and be warned that they do come apart. The individual cogs come off, and the more expensive the cassette, the more individuals. So this has only got one individual bit that comes off, and it's all riveted together. But the more expensive ones like Ultegra and Durace, and they will come individually apart, and the spacers will come individually apart as well. So when you take that off, they tend to go everywhere. Right, now we have our new cassette here. We have our alternative cassette. Now, on the freewheel hub itself, we have these, I don't know, can you see that? These grooves and ridges, and you can see they're all a uniform size until you find this one. This one's slightly smaller, and what you find on the inside of the cassette, there are these ridges as well, and they will have a groove that's slightly smaller on here. In there, there's one that's slightly smaller somewhere. If it would focus, but it won't. So you want to line them up together. That lines up like so, and that one is again that way round. And then, so you slot that on, you just hand tighten your locking ring in first. And to put it back on, you just get your cassette tool again, and you don't need the chain whip this time because you're going in the direction of the freewheel. So it will just, the freewheel will lock itself up, and you can just tighten this up. And then just a few clicks around, and it should, you know, use a little bit of judgment about this. You know, tight but not over tight, so don't strain it too much. And that's perfect. And then that's on. Put your quick release skewer back in. Quick release skewer back in, and now back into the bike. Now, there's one more thing. Once you've got your wheel back in, put it up into the biggest cog and just make sure that the big ring on the cassette isn't touching the jockey wheel. Now this is just slightly touching, so you want to adjust this B screw if you can. Just tighten it in, and it just brings the cassette back very slightly like that and gives you clearance in there. Now that's also the case on, I mean this can have a 34 cassette on because it is a long cage and we've got the chain length and what have you. Now on mine, please excuse the dirt, I fitted a 34 cassette. Not a 34, I fitted a 32 cassette on mine, and I've got a short cage Ultegra derailleur. Now Shimano will tell you that it doesn't work with the short cage. Look at that mud in there. But it does work, and I've used it for 3,000 miles now, something like that, and it works perfectly. I've had no trouble with it at all. As long as you adjust that B screw, adjust that in, brings the derailleur back, it will work perfectly. No trouble at all. Okay, thanks for watching guys. That's how to change your cassette. Until the next video, thumbs up, bye bye.